there are no limits to what you can achieve.
Like when someone sees my dance, I want them to see that message that no matter what obstacles they're faced with, they can always find a way to do it their own way.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next. Have a great weekend.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Tonight, the old guard makes way for a new hand at the Department of Immigration as a new executive leadership team is installed. Hear how the new director intends to face existing challenges head on. The country's voting process about to undergo a major facelift, a process officials tout will bring general elections into the modern era. And confidence amid closure, the tourism minister downplays concerns about Atlantis' shutting down and insists the number one industry's best days are still in front of it. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now. Good evening and thanks for staying up with us. I'm Corvell Pyfrom. Our big story here at 11 is the news that came as a surprise to just about everyone today. Amid claims of corruption and crisis comes a shakeup within the Department of Immigration that sees the promotion of more than 20 officers, including a new director. Our Makush Lapinda starts us off here at 11.
Now let us roll up our sleeves and get to work.
And the Department of Immigration has work to do. In recent weeks, it's been the source of a political football between the government and the Free National Movement, who holds firm the country is in an immigration crisis. Former Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Dr. Hubert Minnis, recently pinned down the department's woes to corruption and greed. And then there are reports of abuse at the hands of some officers. Hoping to shake off that image on Friday, 21 officers moved up the ranks as part of immigration's new executive leadership. Leading the team, the very man who told them to get down to business, veteran immigration officer Stephen LaRota.
I commit to doing my very best to uphold the highest standards of the Immigration Department, to work in unity with the new executive team that has been promoted. Immigration officers are public servants. We must therefore be mindful of the service that we provide to the public. We must be honest in our dealings with the public. As law enforcement officers, we are called to a higher standard. We must uphold the law.
Rounding out LaRota's top team, Deputy Director Sean Gordon, alongside Assistant Directors Alan Smith, Harold Thurston, and Andrea Moxie. With the appointments, though, came a serious charge from the Prime Minister, who reminded the officers that they are not just being called to fill positions, but it is hoped they enforce the law firmly, fairly, and consistently.
We must continue to tighten the systems. We must continue to build an immigration department that works, one that is prepared, disciplined, and aligned with the needs of a modern nation. That's why these promotions matter. Mr. LaRota, Mr. Davis, Ms. Moxie, the weight of the country's expectations is now squarely on your shoulders. This is a time of serious leadership. You must build morale. You must cut through inefficiency. You must lead a department that the Bahamas and Bahamians trust. Not fear, not question, but trust. This country wants results.
But those results are not to say the Bahamas is anti-immigrant, but according to the Prime Minister, anti-lawlessness.
No one is above the law, and no employer is beyond reach. This is not just immigration enforcement. This is economic protection. This is national preservation.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Akush Lapinder.
Our coverage continues here tonight. Meanwhile, as the Department of Immigration welcoming its new hand in bidding farewell to the old guard, it is doing so under intense public and political scrutiny. Prime Minister Davis asked whether the appointment of this new executive leadership team at the Department of Immigration is an attempt at an image makeover for the department, insisted it isn't, but affirms it is a reset.
We have to move away from the culture of turning a blind eye to things that we see and that we ought to report.
This reset, as the Prime Minister calls it, comes at a time that the Department of Immigration and the government's immigration policies are under increasing scrutiny. Political opponents of the Prime Minister have even suggested that the country is in the throes of an immigration crisis. A suggestion Mr. Davis soundly rejects.
We are not in an immigration crisis. The fact of the matter, our record speaks for itself. The fact that everybody doesn't know what's going on doesn't mean that we're not doing anything.
Specifically, the Prime Minister points to the reduction in illegal landings and the record number of repatriations under his administration's watch.
We have repatriated over 15,000 immigrants in the 4 years, the most in modern history.
The Department of Immigration starts this new chapter with the amount of detainees at the Carmichael Road Detention Center at an all-time low. As outgoing Director William Pratt passes the baton to his successor, Stephen LaRota, there won't be much of a honeymoon period. The new director is a seasoned veteran of the department, and he acknowledges that there are issues within the department that need to be dealt with.
We are law enforcement, and we ought to have a certain degree of respect for the general public, and excessive use of force is not something that I would accept at all.
So how aggressive a policy should we expect from you regarding going after bad apples within the department?
Wait and see.
In related news tonight, a significant policy shift is helping to secure the future of national defense. Royal Bahamas Defense Force officers and Marines can now work until the age of 60 years old. Commodore Floyd Moxie explaining this move strengthens the force for future challenges.
The extension of retirement age to 60 has proven to be a strategically sound move for the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. It has helped us to stabilize our manpower, especially for critical areas like marine engineering, fleet maintenance, and technical operation, which are roles that requires years of training and experience to master. The legislation to allow us to increase the age of service to age 60 so that we were able to retain some of the skill set that we needed to maintain these patrol craft.
According to the Commodore, the shift also supports leadership continuity and internal training across ranks, ensuring that younger officers are equipped with the knowledge and skills needed to take the force forward.
It helps us with succession planning. In the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, we have clear career path, and it's important that the skill set is passed on to successors. It was necessary to extend that age to ensure that we transfer the skill set that was in the force that would be necessary to move the force into basically the next generation.
Off the crime beat this late night, Drug Enforcement Unit officers executing a search warrant at a property on Misty Blue Close around 5:30 yesterday afternoon, where 5 men occupied. The officers confiscated 230 pounds of suspected marijuana that police tell us is worth an estimated street value of $430,000. The men, ages 22, 24, 29, 33, and 58, are all in police custody. Another drug bust, this one taking place in Bimini yesterday. Officers there arresting two men, ages 45 and 52 years old. They were at a home in Baileytown just after 5:30 in the afternoon as well. The officers executing a search warrant and discovering 1 pound of a quantity of suspected marijuana that has an estimated street value of about $1,000. And to San Salvador now, where police there are probing a fatal accident out at sea. According to the initial information reported to police in the Berry Islands, it was shortly before 7:30 p.m. when a 28-year-old South African female crew member was allegedly stabbed multiple times by another crew member identified as a 35-year-old South African man. Following the incident, the man reportedly fled from the scene and jumped into the water. He was retrieved unresponsive and pronounced dead by onboard medical staff. Police said the female victim sustained stab wounds to her upper body and is now in stable condition. An autopsy is scheduled to assist in determining the exact cause of death as the investigation continues into this matter. In other news here tonight, to stay or change. Well, the Bahamas is officially moving in the direction of change. Bahamians can brace themselves for some shaking up to the voting process. Danielle Dean tells us more.
Photos, fingerprints, signatures, and registration numbers will be the new inked thumb the next election. All these components will be featured on a biometric card, a technologically advanced hard plastic card similar in appearance to a driver's license. Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson justifying the transition.
Since the 2017 general election, we have seen the limits of a manual registration and verification system. Duplicate records, incorrect data, and manual polling day walkabouts have led to delays and public doubt.
Not only will these biometric cards allow for an easier, more efficient process, Thompson says.
They will be valid for 10 years and printed using durable, tamper-resistant materials.
On the flip side, though, the commissioner acknowledged the potential risks, even with all the proposed upsides.
For unauthorized access, alteration, or misuse of e-poll books, data, or biometric records. These offenses carry serious penalties, including fines and imprisonment.
About 80% of Bahamians on the register have submitted biometric data.
If you voted in 2012 and didn't vote in 2017, or you didn't register for 2017, then you have to register again.
Neighboring countries like the Dominican Republic have also recently taken on this transition. The biometric cards, according to board members, will be ready early 2026. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thank you, Danielle. Inflation decreased by 0.1% during the month of May when compared to April. That's according to the Bahamas National Statistical Institute's Consumer Price Index for May. Furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance, miscellaneous goods and services, along with food and non-alcoholic beverages, all recorded lower rates. For the month of May, though, the Consumer Price Index increased by some 0.4% when compared to the same period last year. There's still more news to stay up for tonight. Tourism officials aren't ruffled by a luxury hotel's partial closure. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. That story and more. Stay with us.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
We continue now on this Friday evening, and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, weighing in on the plans by Atlanta's Paradise Island Resort to temporarily close its Coral Tower on August 17th to conduct plumbing repairs. The tourism minister assures that there is no cause for alarm.
Atlantis recalibrating and using an opportunity to do some renovations. This is not unlike many years before, and we anticipate that at the end of the day we'll have an even better product. We know that Atlantis has been a world's favorite for quite some time, but we also know that it started to show its age. So I'm personally happy to see that this is happening.
More upbeat news from tourism tonight. Congratulations appear to be in order for the Nassau Cruise Port. The port again nominated for the Caribbean's leading cruise port in the annual World Travel Awards program. Port CEO and Director Mike Moore sees it as a tremendous accomplishment and reflection of the dedication, excellence of his entire team. On April 8th, the port welcomed a record-breaking 31,011 cruise passengers in a single day. Phase 2 of its redevelopment is underway, introducing new features including an expanded yacht and marina services. The Cayman Islands Compass Online is reporting that passengers flying from London to Cayman found themselves stranded in the Bahamas amid new delays on the British Airways route. The flight scheduled to arrive in Georgetown Wednesday was delayed by almost 17 hours. The return flight out of Cayman to London via the Bahamas was also postponed overnight as a result. The online newspaper reports this is the second time in 2 weeks that the route has been hit by overnight delays, and travelers vented their frustration over a growing number of issues with the service. British Airways flies between London and Cayman with a stop in the Bahamas 5 times a week. It seems the adults are always the ones having conversations on climate change and solutions to combat it. But who says that children can't pitch in too? Our Danielle Dean attended the closing of a children's climate camp where they're learning to be advocates for the well-being of their country.
Climate change has proven to be a monstrous issue that no one of us can tackle on our own. But if we work together like these little ones, part of the Ministry of Social Services Summer Climate Action Program, we might be well on our way.
We're the future, so we're learning how to have a say in the world, so we can learn how to speak up about different things, about climate change, global warming, and all different kinds of stuff.
Tamara Green-Lunn, this 10-year-old, speaks for the 70 children that took part in this year's climate camp. 34 boys and 36 girls spent the past 2 weeks creating climate-friendly projects, like making their own wreaths out of branches they found in nature and harvesting their own pumpkins and jalapenos. Her age doesn't stop her from her advanced way of thinking, and thanks to this camp, she understands just how important it is for our nation to defend against climate change.
We need rain for our plants, and if we don't have rain, none of our plants would grow. And if our plants don't grow, that means trees won't grow, and we get our oxygen from trees.
Social Services Minister, the Honourable Miles LaRota, says from its conception last year, this was the idea behind Climate Camp.
It's really to sensitize the children on the importance of preserving the climate. What I'd like to stress is that campers of all abilities were invited, so we had a mixed bunch, so it's an inclusionary camp, and it says that no matter what your ability, you have a role that you can play.
No matter their ability, the future is looking bright.
We're taking climate action.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, Danielle Dean looking like Captain Planet there. Well, the Bahamas Tonight at 11 turns to sports next this Friday. Here's Amajal Knowles with a preview.
And a collegiate pitcher who defied the odds. Details of that story and more in sports.
In 2010, a grant helped Bahamas' striping group of companies get started. Today, that seed has grown into a national force, building roads, airports, and brighter futures. Now, we're leading the way through public-private partnerships, what we call 3Ps, where government vision meets private sector innovation. 3Ps empowers local subcontractors, giving them the chance to bid. And with every contract, we're putting money directly into communities, creating jobs, supporting families, and fueling growth. From roads in Eleuthera to community centers in the inner city, we're not just laying asphalt, we're laying foundations for financial opportunity. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we believe in building more than infrastructure. We're building up Bahamians who build the Bahamas. 3 Ps. Public-private partnerships for people, progress, and prosperity.
Welcome to your TGIF Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports on the baseball diamond. Have you ever heard of a baseball pitcher who was born with only 7 fingers? Well, if you haven't, that's about to change. Meet Deshaun Forbes, who, despite the odds, is excelling in his sport at the collegiate level. Tennis Whole Sports intern Demario Hanna has the full story.
We're here at Blue Hill Field with one of our rising baseball stars, Deshaun Forbes, a left-handed pitcher and outfielder who's making waves over in Boston, Massachusetts. ZNS Total Sports has had a chance to speak with him about his journey, analyzing what drives him to compete at next level. After a few years of high school in Boston, Forbes attended Massasoit Community College in 2023, transferring to Bridgewater State University the following year. During that period, Forbes adapted well to the new competition, picking up all region honors for his performance.
Well, moving to high school, that was the dream at the time. You know, I wanted to be there, and being out there, being in that community allowed me to play to the best of my potential. And I would say here we're hungry. I would say that we have more to fight for, because over there everything is given. Everything is like here, handed to you. But here we have to work for what we want. So I would say us leaving to go to America is a big opportunity for us.
Deshaun Forbes is not your average baseball player. The outfielder and pitcher was born with 7 fingers. Additionally, he suffered a season-ending injury last year. Despite this, he has not let these obstacles discourage him, as he was still able to have success within the sport.
Your mindset, the way you do things, the way you think, the way things that come out of your mouth, all of that plays a big role in becoming a great athlete and just a regular athlete. My support system was always there. They would always check up on me, always make sure I'm okay. But mentally, because I've been playing baseball for such a long time, like to just stop because of an injury was tough. But I know I was brought up the right way, so there's no quitting now.
Forbes is repping the Bahamas, rising in Boston, and proving the dream is alive with limitless potential. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Demario Hanna.
From the diamond to the track, Antoine Andrews gearing up to be one of the country's top male hurdlers and is coming off a stellar 2025 season at Texas Tech University. Our intern Zaria Stapleton catches up with him in this report.
Rebounding from a serious injury during his freshman season to now making waves on the track and the media, Antoine Andrews is the example and the inspiration for young Bahamian athletes. Former Carifta medalist and Olympian Antoine Andrews is a thriving athlete at Texas Tech University. Antoine talks transitioning from high school to a Division I college, discussing the challenges experienced along the way.
To be honest, I do feel like my college experience and my college season has been going good. Quite a slow burner, but like I say, like when I initially came to school, my freshman year, I feel like it was a lot of culture shock for me. I had to learn different things and adapt to different situations. So I think that kind of prepared me into going into my senior year, where I hope and pray that it's probably going to be a breakout season for me.
He touched on the help given by his support system.
My family, my coaches even prepared me for things like this. So like I said, I think me being the person I am, I feel like it was easy for me to adapt to situations.
Andrews has now put his athletic expertise to the test, adapting to coaching while in Texas. He spoke about how the experience has formed a newfound appreciation for the sport.
If I demonstrate something to you, in my head, I feel like you should get it like the second I teach you. But it doesn't work like that. Not everyone is going to be a fast learner, so I had to learn how to be patient, continue telling them the same cues, keep telling them the same things, and just be patient until they get it. And to me, that teaches me a lot, because there's some athletes who can't just pick up on stuff so fast, and coaches just be patient with them. But I had to learn that, and that was the main factor for me in coaching, being patient.
Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I am Zaria Stapleton.
And the daughter of a local sports legend set to hold a camp here in the capital designed to continue her family's legacy. giving back to the youth of the Bahamas. Mentia Ford tells us more about the Winners Camp.
Recreational grounds. It will run from July 28th to August the 1st. The camp will consist of a morning session that will be academic, which will incorporate science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, along with some game coding and leadership activities for the kids. And then also, we will be creating a environment for creating a successful mindset for the kids. And then we will transition into the afternoon, which will be an athletic afternoon. We will focus this year on baseball and softball. It will run from 1 to 4 p.m. So again, it's a full day camp, free of charge for kids between the ages of 7 to 13. Well, it definitely means a lot to me. My father, the late Wenty Ford, was a professional baseball player. He was, and to this day, 52 years later, the first Bahamian to pitch in the major leagues. But not only was he known to be a great sportsman, not just baseball player, but he was great in cricket. He was also manager of some of the Bahamian professional teams. But overall, he was just a great human being. He's a legend here, a hero here in the country. He did give a lot back to the community during his short time on Earth. He was passionate about sports, and as we know, the Ford family continues to be passionate about sports some 30, 40 plus years later.
And that's been your TGIF Sports. I'm Amajal Knowles. Enjoy your weekend.
When a hurricane watch or warning is issued, medical emergency services are placed on high alert. For many persons seeking medical care, defining what an emergency is can be difficult to assess given all that is occurring during the storm. The following basic guidelines are designed to help you assess your emergency. If you are experiencing symptoms like shortness of breath, chest pain, severe pain, disorientation, extreme vomiting or diarrhea, vision disturbance, or suicidal thoughts, you should seek immediate medical assistance. If you are bleeding significantly or otherwise severely injured, seek emergency assistance immediately. Children presenting with symptoms like high fever and extremely listless or lethargic behavior need to be taken to the emergency room immediately. If you are unsure of the extent of your condition, you are advised to seek medical assistance immediately. Share your symptoms with the on-call doctor and get advice as to whether or not it can wait until normal business hours. Remember, emergency care is not a convenient option for basic medical care during a storm. The Public Hospitals Authority encourages members of the public to use these basic guidelines to help decide on whether something is an emergency or not. The authority reminds the public that in the case of an emergency, always call 911 or head immediately to the emergency room. This message has been brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority.
Well, before we close up shop here on this Friday, let's say good evening to our chief meteorologist, Basil Dean, who, among other things, has a look at our all too important weekend weather forecast. Happy Friday, Basil.
Happy Friday to you, Caldwell, and we get you started in the tropics, and we have two areas we're looking at, but nothing significant. We have one in the Far Eastern Atlantic, Hurricane Center giving that about a 10% chance of development over the next several days, and that's because we do have the presence of some Sahara dust in the area that, coupled with some strong upper level wind shearing, will minimize the effects of this system as it trucks westward across the Atlantic. And then in the Gulf of Mexico, we have another area that has already started to move inland over the Gulf Coast of the United States, and that too will dissipate over the next couple of days. Now, your temperatures around the islands: Marshall, Babico, 85 degrees, 87 in Greentown Key, Freeport, Grand Bahama, 87, the Berry Islands, 1 degree down at 86 degrees, Allenstown, Bimini at 85 degrees, over in Harbor Island, 86 degrees, Rockside, Lucia, 84, 85 in Otterstart, Cat Island, Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space, St. Andros reporting 87 degrees, Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 86. And then we pick up some 85s in Georgetown and Zuba, Rim Key, San Salvador, and also in outer Kit Island. And then we get into the 84s, Rygat Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana. 85 in Acklands, Matthewtown, United with a warm spot tonight at 89 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 86. And our satellite pictures showing clear skies or near clear skies throughout the 700 islands, and that's because high pressure is in control of our weather, leading into a subsidence, and that is a sinking air over the greater part of our 700 islands. And our forecast tonight, mainly clear, very warm conditions, low temperature around 81 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at a mixed bag of cloud and sunshine, with the high temperature getting up to 90 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, beautiful weather over the weekend, with a slight hazy conditions in the skies, and that will be with us through Sunday. But by Monday, some of that will clear up, and we'll see 1 or 2 showers return to the forecast on Monday morning. But lots of sunshine as we head into the middle part of the week. But those toasty low 90s will be with us for the next 7 days. Carvel.
Thank you, Basil, and thank you for being with us. That's our broadcast for this Friday, for this week. I'm Corval Pyfrom, and for all of us, take care, be well, and come back and see us on Monday. Have a good evening.
After 66 steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.